Episode 64, live from the Pines. A lot going on now. Texas high school baseball is heating up. Round 2 of the playoffs. Tonight we welcome special guest Coach T, Centerville High School. Them Bulldogs, how they looking?
How about them, man? Man, they're looking good. They're they're competing their tail off, and got a bunch of good kids and working hard every day and plugging, and so doing everything I ask. And it's been a great year. It's been fun. One of those years that you hope you get to do again. So
a lot of teams dream for those years. Coach T, the recipe in 1A baseball. If you got one arm, great. If you got two, you have the real deal. And that's something the Centerville Bulldogs have. Before we get started talking about the Bulldogs, let's talk a little bit about you. I've known you majority of my life, and, you played football, you played baseball, you wore the purple, you got to be a Lufkin Panther, you got to run out of the tunnel on Friday night today, you got to play in that two game a week district, home and away in baseball, saw a lot of elite competition, College Park, Oak Ridge, the Woodlands, all those big schools. And, now you find yourself on coaching third base, head baseball coach in Centerville. But let's talk a little bit about your journey. A lot of people don't know this, you had a little bit harder journey than most, and, in the college ranks, but you never let it go and you stuck with it. And look where you are now. How's it been?
Man, it's been, it's been an experience. I still talk about the coaches that I played for weekly, and I use, those situations. I got to play for Coach John Cobb in baseball, obviously, Riley Fincher, Coach Cook, Coach Bridges, Coach Stanley, Coach Barry. I got to play for a lot of great baseball coaches, and I also got to play for a lot of great football coaches, Coach Green, Coach Quick, Coach Cook again, and
and you played for Outlaw too, right?
The GOAT, Coach Outlaw. Got to witness his 300th win.
If you're still looking for a good baseball game to watch, BYU is leading Kansas. Runners on first and second, 2-0 count. Pitcher is shook right now. I know from following a lot of college baseball podcasts, a lot of people had Kansas sweeping. So if you want to turn that on, that's a good game to go turn on. Well, but yeah, man, you got to do it all. You got to wear the purple, got to play football, got to play baseball. Man. Talk a little bit about after college. What was your journey to get to where you are now?
So I went to Blinn for a little bit.
We both did for a little bit, right there.
It was a little bit. I came home and went to AC.
Mom, I come home, go to AC. I'll transfer back down there. It'll all work out.
Took a summer off or took a semester off, and how it goes. Just one of those deals that just kept kicking the can, and then eventually, got married, had a kid, and
life got real. Then it's time to grow up. No more LT.
I worked at the state school for a little bit, and it was a great job. I loved it. I was passionate about that, and but there was just always a burning desire to be a coach, and I don't know if you know this or not, but my dad coached at Corrigan.
Oh yeah.
In my childhood, and so I kind of grew up there and in a small school life before moving over to Lufkin, which was a culture shock to say the least. But it ended up great, and I'm glad. I wouldn't change that experience for anything. And so yeah, man, I'm in my fourth year out at Centerville, and
what's it like coming from a school like going to Lufkin, big city, to a one-horse town? It's 1A school. If you blink, you miss it. What's that like? What's that experience like? I know the kids have to be a lot different. They come in. I'm sure they're a lot more driven, but you have to do. It's not necessarily do more work as a coach because you have some talent, but you have to do a lot more. I need you to come play baseball. I need you to come play baseball. It's not like, okay, I know I got these 5 kids that have played baseball their whole life, and they're going to be good. And then I have 3 more that, maybe played a little league ball, maybe played a little fall ball, lot to work with. And then I have, 3 kids that are just eager to be here. They're fired up. They're working hard. And I got a baseball team.
Yeah, I mean, it's, it's different. And, again, you know the Lufkin standard and what it is. And, how many kids come from Morris Frank Park and feeder into the junior high program there, and eventually to the high school level. And there's tryouts and there's cuts and there's you don't show up one day and you lose your job, and it's different. I got 13 high school baseball players in the program right now. We got 45.
How many kids are in the school?
In the entire school, I think like 150-ish, somewhere. 100, could be 145, could be 100.
I would have never guessed it.
58, yeah. And then so in the high school, I believe our number, we were like 40 something, 45-ish, maybe, if I'm not wrong. But yeah, man, I mean, so it's from a depth standpoint, it's different. But at the same time, kids are kids, and if they trust you and believe in you, and that they'll show up and work. And I got 13 kids right now in the high school program that show up and work. And we have junior high baseball. We started it a couple years ago, and so I got I want to say 6 or 7 8th graders coming into the high school program next year. Also, all good kids. With a school as small as ours, I know all these kids before they're ever, even in the junior high program. I see all these kids. I know whose younger brother is who, and I see them. We have one hallway through the school, and so I see everybody from kindergarten to 12th grade all day long, and it's awesome. I get fist bumps, high fives, handshakes, and hugs from the little ones, and it's just I love it. It's awesome. And I something that I took.
Well, you're doing a great job over there. And before we keep going into before we keep going into baseball, talk a little bit about y'all's basketball season. Phenomenal season on the basketball court.
Yeah, man, we had a great year. It got cut shorter than we would have liked by a really, really good, talented Kennard team that was in our district. So, hats off to those guys. They played some great basketball, but man, it's the same thing. All my baseball kids are also basketball kids, and I'm the assistant basketball coach, and Coach Hollis is my assistant baseball coach, and he did a great job preparing those guys day in, day out, week in, week out. And we just, one of those deals, man. They showed up and played for them and for us and for the community, and got after it.
So on to this, on to where we are now. We're in the second round of the playoffs. You get a big first round playoff sweep. Y'all swept the first round, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's what I thought. So you get a big first round sweep. On to round 2, tell us a little about your competition, the team you're getting ready to play. I hate to say this, but a lot of times I know a lot of teams that teams are playing, but I have no clue about the team y'all are playing against. So I want to hear a little bit about it.
So we're playing the Brooklyn Wildcats. They're over there.
Okay, you're Brooklyn, yeah, down there by the lake, yeah.
Other side of the lake, and man, they're a good team. They're they're well coached. They got a good program. They also had a really good basketball season, which a lot of times that kind of correlates in small school. The small school life. If you're kind of good at if you're good at one, you're kind of good at all. And but yeah, man, they're I think they're ranked number 4 or something right now, and they're they're rolling. They've been good for the last couple of years, and we've had some wars with them in junior high, and we actually went over and played them on a Saturday, and dropped that one 5-4 in a really good clean game. And they're well coached. They like to they'll small ball and they'll get the job done, and they get after it, play hard, and they got some arms, and so it should be a dogfight.
For you knowing your team and having the district season y'all had, you guys are battle tested and y'all ready to for sure play baseball. But what sticks out the most about your team? What makes what makes this all gel together? And it's hard to all be have the run y'all had, especially the record that y'all have this year. What made this possible?
Man, I think the biggest deal is the the chemistry. I got 13 guys, and they you hear brotherhood and you hear family. That that's a word that's used pretty loosely, I think, in athletics and in this or that. But I got 13 guys that are in a brotherhood. They believe it. They fight like brothers. They're going to get on each other like brothers, hold each other accountable. Of course they're going to clown on each other and rib each other. And it's all, they understand that it's all in good fun. And also it's all in, hey, you're not taking care of what you need to take care of it. And so it's a true brotherhood, man. It's a, we preach Bulldog family out at Centerville, and those guys are the epitome of that. They're a family, and it's a Bulldog family, and they'll run through a wall.
It means something to them.
That's right, it does. Yes, sir, it does.
Talking about your team and all those things. What have been some of the key aspects of winning? On the field.
I mean, we got. All phases really. I mean, I got Colt Larson behind the plate, and he's an absolute game changer defensively. He's a hard-nosed kid behind the plate, and you got a good catcher, and the general that's going to lead and make sure that the pitchers are doing what they're supposed to. And I think that's step one. And then I got some arms that locate and work hard and get after it, and have been working all off season to get ready for this point. And they're kind of getting to reap the benefits of that, the off season and throwing while they're in basketball and doing stuff on their own. Mobility type stuff and making sure we're long tossing. And I think sometimes it's hard to do that. When you're playing another sport, obviously you're kind of like, well, it's basketball season. I'm going to do basketball, but they got out and did that on their own, on their own time. And I got a freshman arm, Hardy Brown, who is chunking right now. He's commanding well and working fast. Got a senior, Jake Slayton, that's also throwing really well. I got a sophomore, Wyatt Clee, that's throwing really well. And back to what you said earlier, if you got an arm in small school baseball, you're tough. But I like to think that we got more than one, and that they're gonna toe the rubber and compete and go get after your tail. And I think that has a lot to do with our success. Also, obviously you got to score runs. You got to play defense. Our defense has been really, really good this year, and we're scoring a lot of runs. We play, the guys have bought into selfless team first baseball, and they bunt when they need to, and they understand that guy on third, I'm trying to get the baseball, in play and score him, or guy at second, I'm trying to advance him. And that's just, it goes back to the type of kids they are and what they're brought into and what they believe in. And it's each other and doing things the right way and team first top baseball. And when you do that, I think good things happen. There's no look at me on this team. There's no, I'm more important than you are. I mean, there's none of that. It's just a brotherhood and a bond. Let's go get a win at all costs. And they've been doing that. So
you got 2 losses on the season. You lose to Brooklyn on that Saturday. You lose to Groveton. How are you able to maintain keeping arms fresh, keeping arms healthy, and ready to go in y'all's district with not having as many kids as most teams have to deal with?
I mean, honestly, this year it's been the arms have been pretty fresh. I haven't had to just stretch a whole lot of people. I've stretched them to get them that work, but we're doing a lot of bullpens during the week and making sure that we're rehabbing and taking care of ourselves. But we've been on a pretty good rotation, and we're just kind of trying to stick with that. And again, you take basketball, when basketball runs into baseball season, it's always a good thing if you're a basketball and baseball coach. And so we kind of eased them in early and took baby steps and progressions to kind of get to where we are now. And I think we're, all those guys are fresh and firing on, full cylinders as of now, so.
So, Coach Trek, how are we approaching attacking this series this week? I don't know much about Brooklyn and what they have and what you're going to be seeing, but what's our plan to approach this?
Man, we're gonna, we're gonna get after it and do what we do, and do the things that got us here, which is throw strikes, play good defense, do a job when a job comes your way, and I hope that we can bust through on the other end.
And all these games are played in Nacogdoches, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
So I'm not trying to get ahead of you guys, but who are we looking at after this round?
Well, if the winner of this round is gonna get the winner of Chester and Oakwood.
Is there a chance you think we get a game at Lufkin?
I mean, I would not be opposed to it.
Yeah, John Cobb's listening. Let's set that up. Let's get the Centerville Bulldogs.
First things first. We gotta
get through Brooklyn.
Yeah, we got one thing on our mind, and we'll hopefully talk about that at a later time. But we're gonna deal with what's on our plate right now and go.
Are these games streamed?
Not like on NFHS or anything. We may stream them through Game Changer. I'll check on that, but
yeah, please let us know. I would love to watch you guys play this weekend. I think it's going to be a great series.
Drive down to NAC, 30 minutes, man.
Man, I would love to, but my birthday is Saturday.
Oh, I got you.
So Friday, I'm going to be
playing some golf.
No, I got to work tomorrow, but I'll be in the recliner probably after that watching Texas play. So,
okay.
I won't be having any, big fun, but
I'm not mad at you.
I'm going to shut it down tomorrow and relax, but I will definitely tune in. And you know what? I say that now. If everything aligns, I might come to Nacogdoches tomorrow. If everything aligns, I might make that trip because I need to go to Nacogdoches anyway. So I might make that trip.
But 7 p.m., man. Come on. We're a little red.
Coach, I got it. I don't know if I have any red. I might take care of me on that.
I got you. I'll leave something in the mailbox for you.
All right. Well, quick question before we let you go. Who's going to Omaha this year?
Man, I just don't know. I'm a little biased, and I'm I'm going to throw those Ags in there. Is it realistic? I don't
They're
know.
hot. They're hot. You win Tennessee, you win Arkansas, you beat you take the series with LSU. You're doing something right. I don't know what it is. I know the bats have definitely picked up, and the pitching hasn't been the issue. But I don't see why you count the Aggies out. They're getting hot at the right time.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think Texas will be there for sure. As bad as I don't want to say that.
As much as I believe you, and I hope it happens, if we play like we've been playing and we played against Arkansas, there is not a chance. We didn't play very good at all. We got beat pretty bad every game and didn't.
Yeah, that was a tough series for the boys. Sloss got a little hot, and
it's part of it though. You got to lose. That's just part of it. I'd rather lose now than lose in a couple weeks. So
that's right.
It's part of it, and I think that a lot of people don't realize that you're hot and you're winning like that, but if you're going to take any losses, take them now.
Yep, that is true.
And it goes a long way. Well, Coach T, I'm going to let you get some sleep and get in bed. We thank you for coming on live from the Pines. What time is the game tomorrow?
7 p.
7 p.m. Coach T is going to be checking to see if we can, make sure we get some streaming. We got to have some streaming. We need to be able to watch it. What about radio? We got a Nasty in Centerville?
No Nasty in Centerville. You could get with Nasty though. See if he'll
hook
us up for the weekend.
Something. We'll have to look into that. Before we go, I want to give a shout out to our sponsor, Shop Really Having, for the partnership with Live from the Pines. Use discount code HAVENFAM for 15% off your purchases. Shop Really Having on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, etc. New limited edition hoodies out. Go check them out. Malcolm Deason and the guys that Really Having. Go give them boys a shout out. I see some of the stuff they got. It's nice, man. I need to get me some. Another shout out to our guy, Austin Brown and Zilker Belts. Thank you guys for all y'all do for the podcast. Use discount code PINES936 for all online orders and go support them Centerville Bulldogs. Thank you a lot for coming on tonight. We appreciate you.
I appreciate you boys. Y'all keep
all our socials and go give Centerville some support, man. Lawton's doing a great thing over there. Him and Coach Hall. That's got the basketball team rolling, got the baseball team rolling. I'm sure the girls are over there excelling. I know the FFA and ag programs are excelling. I see that on Facebook.
Yes, they are. Miss Dial, Miss Kelly Dial, she does a great job.
Well, y'all go check them out. Thank you again, Lawton.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.